The best way to prepare for Pokemon Champions is to have a basic understanding of IVs and EVs. So let's get into it. So when I was younger, I always used to wonder why I would have two or three of the same Pokemon and fairly around the same levels, but one was just better than the rest, right? One was just a little bit faster than everything else. So I remember competing online and I remember having a Dragonite and I was going against another Dragonite. Now my Dragonite was level 100. However, the other Dragonite was faster than mine. It always moved first and it hit harder. And I just never really understood why that was. So today we're gonna go through IVs and EVs and break things down for you guys. So what are IVs? IVs stand for individual values. And here on Pokemon Showdown, we're able to see the individual values of a Pokemon. So here I brought up a Pikachu, and on the left side we can see its base stats, right? It has a base stat of 35 HP, a base stat of attack of 55, defense 40, special attack 50, special defense 50, and speed 90. Now, IVs, or individual values, is essentially the Pokemon's potential in that value. So the value goes from 0 to 31. So the lower it is, the weaker it is in that stat, and the higher it is, the stronger it is on that stat. So if we're looking at our HP and we have an IV of, let's say, 0, you see our overall here went down to 180. But if our IV was perfect at 31, you will see our overall HP goes up to 211. And this is said for every single Pokemon stat that you see here. In most Pokemon games and in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the IVs are not shown as numbers. So in Scarlet and Violet, if you've ever been to your box, you're able to see your IVs. You press the plus sign on your Pokemon on the right side, you're able to see their stats and IVs. Now, the IVs are not from 1 to 31, but you'll see pretty good, decent, not so good, and best. And that's telling you how good their IVs are, with best being the best one. Now in the game, there's somebody that you can trade bottle caps for that can hyper train your Pokemon in whichever stat you want and max out that stat and make it best. However, I know someone's asking, well, why would I ever not want it to be best, and where would I want it to not be as good? Well, this all depends on different factors. There's certain moves like Foul Play that actually use the enemy's Pokemon attack against them. So the higher the attack stat is, the more Foul Play will do. This is a good example. If we had this Pikachu and we taught our Pikachu special attack moves and we want a special attack IV to be at 31, but we don't want Foul Play to do that much damage to us. We will bring our attack stat to 0. And we want our attack to be as low as possible. Pokemon are caught with all different types of IVs, and again, you can hyper train them in the game as well. EVs, these are called effort values. And although IVs is the potential of the Pokemon, EVs are the training of the Pokemon. So you can see here that our IVs are all 31, and I will bring down our attack to 0 because we're making our Pikachu a special attacker, and we want to train it at so. So one thing to keep in mind with EVs is we have 252 per stat and 510 total. So if I wanted to sit here and make my Pikachu really fast, I would then increase its EVs and its speed stat. Now you can see that I can only have 252 effort points or effort values per stat. So now this Pikachu is extremely fast. Maybe I want to make a special attack because we want to make a special attacker really strong. So I have maxed out a special attack and speed stat. However, because we have 510 EVs total, I still have 4 more EVs that I can choose to place anywhere else. And I'll choose to maybe boost his defense by 4 EVs. But as you can see, we've used all of our 510 effort values on training this Pikachu. Another way that you can do this in game is by giving your Pokemon vitamins. So calcium, protein, and those vitamins will boost certain EV values on your Pokemon. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that also battling other Pokemon gives you effort values. So, and remember, we can only max out 252 per stat and 510 in total. So, something to keep in mind is you would want to make sure to have a clean slate and clear out all your EVs from a Pokemon and start fresh and give it some vitamins. Another way that a Pokemon can gain EVs is by holding a power bracelet or one of the power items that you see at the item shop. And when you go and actually fight Pokemon and you're EV training the old-fashioned way, they help you gain your EVs in that stat. So why are EVs and IVs important? Because these are essentially how fast your Pokemon is, how strong your Pokemon is. This is why you can have 2 Pikachus, level of 100, but if we have not trained them, don't know their IVs, they will be completely different. One might be faster than the other, one might be stronger than the other. Another thing that also affects your Pokemon stats is also your nature. What kind of nature or personality your Pokemon has. So here we can see we're on a serious nature, which means everything is balanced out. Nothing's being increased, nothing's being decreased. But as you can see, if we go to an adamant nature, we see is going to increase our attack and decrease our special attack. Now for this Pikachu, this is not the nature that we want because we actually want to decrease our attack, probably even more for foul play, and then also increase our special attack even more. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, is which nature would you want to give your Pokemon? And this is something we can also do in Scarlet and Violet as well. So Pokemon Champions, from what it seems like so far, we might have a different type of EV-IV mechanic where they might mix both of them into that one stat. And we don't have too much information yet or confirmation until the game comes out or Pokemon comes out with anything or any leakers. But at least you guys are getting an understanding of IVs and EVs and get them ready for Pokemon Home and transferable to Pokemon Champions.